Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for delay. My dear colleagues from Africa, my friends as well from the world. Today we're going to talk about human right education and human right itself. So, as the summit itself, it goes all about the human right. So, we're just going to talk about like little briefly discussion about the what human right means. And just want to go deeply about human right. Want to discuss about the nature of the human right and history of human right itself. How how we already form the means of human right. For me, the human right means identity, means our humanity, and means our culture. I do believe something. Nations without humanity, it's like nothing. So the human right means humanity and identity. And human right means peace. And peace means life. So when we talk about the human right, it's like really, this is a big word. Today, like, because of the PowerPoint, doesn't work, so we're gonna have it from the paper. Human right itself, it's like, it's since the humanity starts in life. It have like human nature. So because of the last time we got only 15 minutes, so we just go through the papers very quick. In 1750, King Hammurabi in Babylon, I have a history about the human right. In ancient Egypt also, and early Sikh in India. This is about the human, and about the natural law. We have the philosophy of the Greek and Marcus Aurelius in Cicero, and French philosophy also as well in 1762. About the side of the religious and spiritual, so 200 BCE, Ashoka in India, those like they form free of tree. And 16th century Hindu philosophers also in Chaitanya, Sikh leaders also in Gobind science, and 10th century is like the Farabi is who is a Muslim leader, and we have a place which is called a city of virtue. It is like in the place which is in Iraq and all, so it was the Muslims based area. So they have a philosophers of like brought an outlook of the people of the city of virtue, a vision of moral society in which all individuals were endowed with with the right, and lived in love and charity with their neighbors. So it was like great word for us Saudi Arabians and as Muslims. So we do still follow this point. 16th century, 19th and 16th century human rights based on natural rights. So let's go beyond, and we'll go just like reminding you guys by this history and these dates. In 1863, it was Emancipation and Proclamation of United States. 1864 and 1949, it was Geneva Convention, an International Red Cross formed. 1919 as well, this is the League of Nations, an international labor organization. In 1920, a women gained right in vote in US. 1926, Slavery Convention. In 1945, it was United Nations and character of San Francisco. 1947, Mohandas Gandhi in India. It was used as non-violent protesters leading India to independence. We just wanted to tell about the dates, which really is important when we talk about human rights, which it keeps the history. 1993 Vienna Declaration, which is like the World Conference of Human Rights, reaffirms the states and duty bound to ensure that the education and aim to strengthen the respect of human rights and fundamental freedom, and that this should be integrated and educational policies at the national as well as international levels. It was like formed in 1993, Declaration of Vienna, Part 1, paragraph number 33. And now we talk about the principles. Human rights has a principle, and each thing in life have a principle and procedures. So the rights has someone has simply because he or she is a human being and born into this world. The core principles of human rights is human dignity and equality, non-discrimination, universality, interdependency, and indivisibility, inalienability, and responsibilities. These are the core principles which human rights around to. The 5 primary categories of human rights, which is like we have right in civil rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights, and cultural rights. In Universal Declaration of Human Rights History and Current Status, when we discuss about this, we found in December 10th, 1948, when the leaders of the world were trying to frame out the history and the human right law and some things according to that, it was only like 56 members in United Nations who agreed for the human right. December 10th, the year one, it's like all the day it became a day for the human right. The next year to that, it was 192 members. Out of 56 members, it increased at 192 members, which is really, this is the great jumping for the history when we talk about the human right. And now we have a small discussion about selected human rights convention and traits. So, International Convention on the Elimination of the Forms of Racial Discrimination, it formed as 1966. So, if you guys remembering this, and Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, it was 1979. Convention of of the Rights of the Child, it was 1989. And now this is, today we are in this situation and in this things because of our fathers who really fight for rights, for discrimination in US, Martin Luther King. And when we go through the black and when we go for discrimination in US, in other countries, we would like just really to stop on this point and to remember how those people really tired and fight to get us these points. We really appreciate. And a personal and community human rights learning, we have a wheel called as a human rights wheel. This is according to KRP 1999. So I wish if I have PowerPoint it works, but I think we are unlucky. The value is like we have to know what about human rights. We have to value, we have to connect, and we have to heal. 5th is act, 6 is reflect, 7 is to celebrate, and 8 to inspire. And this is the wheel for the human right. It's like, actually I have a draw. It was just classify it into row, and unfortunately we don't have a PowerPoint. Now we talk about what is a human right education. So previously we were just human right. Now the entire world, we have shifted for human right education. What means? What does it mean? What education? Why we need to educate? Because we need to know, and then we have to educate ourselves to know our rights in a correct way. What is a human right to education? Everyone has a human right to education, training, and information. Education should be directed to the full development of the human personality and the strengthening of human rights and fundamental freedom. Here we are now in government obligations to ensure human right to education. Everyone has right to education. Education should be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect of human right and fundamental freedom. This is UDHR Article 26. State parties undertake to profit and to eliminate racial discrimination and to guarantee the right of everyone without distinction and as a race to color and a national or ethnic origin. In the enjoyment of the right education and training, this is CERD Article number 5. And now we talk about ICESR Act number 13, CRC, and CEDO. This is in response to New World Program on HRA. Government needs to develop plans for human rights in primary and secondary school education. And I don't know, in my perspective, I think the entire world now it's gone worse really. And in Africa we are suffering from all these things. We're tired of fightings, we're tired of poverty, and we're tired of, like, when we talk about developed countries, we have the green yards and we have the economic spaces and we have the mines. So when we come and discuss why still we are far away, this is to find just a point. We have lost our identity, and for losing our identity means we lost our right. And it's really a big topic. 15 minutes is not enough to cover all this. I think all my friends from Africa, they can feel what I was trying to talk about. And we're talking about still the poverty and like the war, civil war there, and like ethnic wars, and all this. Like we need a peace to reconnect to the world, to refresh ourselves, to bring ourselves again back to life. We lost our identity, guys. And never mind to discuss about this deeply. And thank you so much for listening.